heater hose is on. So I put a new O-ring for this outlet piece, and I put grease on it so it can slip in easily, and in the future if you have to replace it, it won't be stuck. I started doing some of the wiring, coolant temp in the back. Pretty tricky to get to. I actually climbed on top of the engine bay and did it that way. I was trying to modify the header so it could fit on here, but it didn't fit. It still hits a bunch of stuff. So I decided to do what I could, which is I started putting some vacuum lines in, started putting the wiring so the injectors are done and stuff. Little update, here's the engine. I got an OEM NB2 header on there. Tying the heater hoses, I found an O-ring for the oil dipstick. I got it from Harbor Freight. I started connecting the two fuel lines. I put painter's tape on the two to match. Got the rear cam sensor connected. And this what happened was the engine was very tall and I could barely fit the cam sensor. It didn't even fit. And I had to rewire some stuff. See that plug right there? I rewired it. So I had more room, more extension. After thinking about it, it was too tall pretty much. So what I did was I deleted half a puck and raised the mount to the very top. So the bolt that goes down there is all the way raised. On this side, I tried to use only 2 pucks, but it wouldn't fit right. Because basically the engine is going more towards the passenger side. So to make up the room, I had to leave the half puck. But what I did was, I lowered it. So where the bolt would go, it's like in the bottom, or almost in the middle pretty much. So it basically like, I want to say evens it out. So now it's not as tall. Cam sensor plug basically won't hit the brake lines. And I feel like this is much better in my case. I wanted to use 2.5 on both sides, but it was just so tall. I was scared it was going to hit the hood. I didn't want to cut the hood or anything and get into more nightmares. But oil pan is still way up there. Right now what I'm doing is I'll be installing a new valve cover gasket. This one says made in USA. We're deleting it. And we have this one. Apparently, I guess it's OEM. Look at that. That's so cool. So I'm going to have a fresh OEM gasket. That would never be me usually. Usually I get all whatever's available at AutoZone. That felt pro. Here's this gasket. Let's pop this one in. And now next is you got an RTV, a few spots, I believe on the 90s. The engine bracket, where you lift it up, it's bent. So just get an adjustable wrench and bend that back. There you go. That's honestly pretty terrible. We're about to see if this baby runs. I got the valve cover hooked up, got the fuel lines hooked up. What it kind of does need though is the intake. So I'm gonna briefly put this thing on and it won't crank over at all. Maybe something's wrong with the starter. Oh yeah, another thing is I gotta hope this thing is in neutral. Let's see, I'm gonna do one crank. Alright, so I figured out what happened. The starter, there's like a power cable basically, or I think it's the trigger wire or something. But anyway, I just tightened the crap out of it. Well, tightened it a little bit more. It felt a little loose. I was able to wiggle the wire back and forth. So I tightened it more. And I heard a crank. So I'm going to crank it a few times to make oil pass through. And then when they see if it starts. She runs. Just really horrible. Come on, run. Oh my goodness. Ah, she's alive. Oh, I hit my knee on the something, man. Hopefully there's no leaks. Doesn't seem like it. I wish I had a cameraman right now, but check it out. As soon as you give it gas, it dies, but she's alive. I figured it out. In my case, with the shear, yeah. So what happens is, you need to adjust this. I put it on too much in one angle and it didn't fit. There's a 12 bolt over there, and you gotta adjust it whichever way you're supposed to. All I did was I basically put it in the center, and it started right up, and that wants to run. Problem is, I don't have RPMs. I don't know why, but that'll be for another time to figure out. That long nut, you just gotta loosen that, and then just adjust them to start right up. Run the car. Thankfully, it's already loosened. I had loosened it when the engine and transmission were already out of the car. This is something you definitely want to loosen while it's already out of the car. I have a nice little Harbor Freight pump. Got it for like $7 or so. We have a fluid right here. It's basically diff fluid. It takes about 2.2 quarts. I have 3 quarts just in case. You literally pump it up until some drips out. And then whenever some drips out, that means it's filled already. I'm gonna have my drain plug ready to go. So there's the line. Goes through here. And here's the out, here's the in. The in goes to the bottle. If you have 2 people, that'd be great. If you're alone, it's okay, you can do it. Just gotta pump and make sure that tube is in the bottle and that tube is up there on the transmission. Alright, so obviously, you know, things go wrong. The bottle fell, it leaves some fluid there. And then the line blew off on the transmission and some fluid fell over there. But it happens. The trick I'm doing right now is I'm just holding the bottle like that. I'm holding the pump, and I'm kind of holding this line in the bottom because if you pump it really hard, these lines can blast off. So be cautious of that. If you leave the bottle alone, it'll tip over because it starts to get very light. Hello, it's been like a day or something, but we gotta fill up the transmission. I filled the bottom till it leaks, and then the top, this little shifter cup. You gotta fill it up like 90 centimeters, 90 something. So I have this pickle jar. I had a measuring cup first. I filled it up with water. Then I put that 90 milligrams of water into this jar. Then I Sharpied the bottom. I Sharpie where 90 milligrams is. And then I put up where it's transmission fluid. Now we gotta fill this up. So I have a little funnel here, just in case. Dump this smelly fluid in there. This is like the 10th time I take this damn header out. This time I took it out because our 2 sensor bung doesn't want to really thread on there. I'm gonna assume the threads are busted in this O2 bung. So I gotta try to make something work. There's like a broken thread piece from an O2 sensor, like it was on here from the previous owner. So I took that out. It was stuck in there. I cleaned it with one of these, and then I got a bolt that I have, and I went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and that cleans the threads. And now it's all the way in, and I can slowly work it out. Yeah, things are going well now. It's ready for an O2 sensor. I finally got the bushing I've been needing. It's this little guy that goes like basically on the shifter. Happy to have this finally. I've been waiting for this piece. If you have an NB shifter and you order this kit, most of it is useless. I didn't know, you basically only need like this little piece that goes in the bottom of the shifter. I got this kit to get the rest, because I already have a brass bushing in there. You have an NB shifter, you basically only need, this piece, because, you know, you usually get to replace it. As you can see, mine's just totaled. Got a new one from eBay, dirt cheap. We filled it up with fluids. This little piece on the shifter. I put the boot on, you literally just force it in there, it pops into place. And then once that's on, tighten the 10mm bolts, just literally hand tighten them. What I try to do is grab a ratchet, grab the head, and go as firm amount with one hand. You don't want to super tighten these because it's going into aluminum. But that feels very solid. A little tiny play in the back, that's fine. A little grease on my finger. Pop it on here. That's gonna be nice and slippery. Can't do it with one hand. Might use this. Hello. So under the car, we're about to start welding a new like test pipe. This piece is actually off of my Civic. I found it. It reaches perfectly from the header to the catback. So far, I have one vice grip holding the back flange. This is actually off of like a catalytic converter. And I have this. This is actually off of this header actually. The guy cut it off right here. I have just enough room to basically shove this pipe in here. This pipe is a little bit smaller, but it'll flow better than the catalytic converter. I have my welder right there. So I'm gonna put the clamp for ground. I'm probably this. I'm gonna try to let like 2 tacks on each side. So this how it's looking so far. Yo, kind of smoky here, but I lit a few tacks here. It was very tough. There's a big gap. So I laid some on the top, made like for the wool. And on this side, I tacked it right there. That should be enough. That should be holding it. So now, I'm gonna do the exhaust. It is very bendy. Yeah, this is what I was scared of. So see how there's not much wiggle room here? And look, there's still studs here. Man, this sucks. Almost there. There you go, that was tricky, man. Now time to finish welding this thing. I finished welding this piece. I painted it so it doesn't get rusty. That looks pretty good to me. I don't really have a gasket on this side because the one here got destroyed. I made one out of a couple duct tapes. That'll be better than nothing. I don't have a gasket right now, and it's cold as shit out there. For the other side, this is like a ring style gasket, and it's on the header right now. Finally on the ground. I was trying to start it earlier, and it didn't really want to run on its own. It would start, stumble, and then stall. But then I let it run for a little. I gave it a little bit of throttle. It's better now, basically. And so I'm very cute. Boom! Look at those little teeth. I painted the little teeth white, and dude, I love it. It's so cute. I'm about to move her for the first time. I did the best I could with this car. Clutch is bled, new shift knob, new shifter bushings. This can be the first time it moves. Let's see how it does. Not bad. Clutch doesn't seem terrible. It's a weird sound. Well, good news, she's outside. When I just press the clutch, it makes a funny sound. Might go for a little test drive. So that's something. Not bad. If it goes into gears, pretty good so far. I don't know what RPMs I'm in. Miata was cranking healthy, it wouldn't start. Couldn't figure it out, but I got the intake off, sprayed some brake cleaner in there, started right up, then died. So that indicates fuel pump. We got a new fuel pump. We popped it off. We got this little tree off. It's held on by these Phillips. And then now it's just this clip. Undo that clip. There's 2 lines. Undo the lines. So here's a new fuel pump. It's a Denso. And if you look here, that's a Denso too. So last owner did replace this fuel pump. I'm hoping that he replaced it with an OEM one, because then I can just pop this guy in here and hopefully reuse that plug. So new Denso is in. Luckily this wine harness actually plugged right into it. It didn't come with a new shock. I'm kind of disappointed in Denso for that one, but we reused the old shock. It's slippery here, but we put a new fuel pump in there. It's not all the way in. I didn't finish putting that finish panel on because we got to make sure it does run. Connected the battery. I'm about to find out together if this baby is running or not. We're going to prime it a few times.
Oh, I hear it.
I hear the new fuel pump. I don't see any leaks. Let's see if the baby runs. Almost there. Battery's dead. I could take a gamble and roll down the hill and pop start it. Alright, so I'm gonna roll down the hill and hopefully start it in second gear. Oh my goodness, now rolling down. There you go. Let's see what happens. Not fast enough. Oh my goodness. All right, battery's dead on it. We got the jumper cable. Hopefully that does something, man. We died in the bottom of the hill, and that's pretty annoying. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we have to wait.
Actually cooked?
Oh, we gotta wait. All right, attempt number 2. It's still started. I popped the hood. First thing I looked at is this. That looks fine. And then molecules here. Notice this was just completely undone because I put brake
Yeah,
fluid.
what's up, guys? I got towel over my head, and I look like a бабушка. Смотрите, пацаны, я бабушка.
Intake's undone. Cause I did that one day to put in brake fluid. I'm gonna pop the intake in, and that should change everything. Now it should run. What the? I gotta let it warm up. It's cold. She's alive. Yo, the Miata's good now. I got laundry in here, but dude, she drives great. Dude, I love it. First try. No gas. This thing runs and drives great, other than the RPM's not working. Man, did I miss this car so much. Good car. Hello, couple months later. This car has finally been done. I just forgot to update and I just been busy as hell with life. Let me walk you through the process of what's happened with this car. So I'm gonna pop the hood and show you. So, engine is still beautiful as always. So a problem that I ran into is I don't have RPMs anymore. Usually that should be a ground issue. So I tried to add a few grounds. I added that one right there. Added one back there by this cam sensor thing. Added this other ground right there. I tried to add a few more grounds, but still have no RPM. Something I noticed was this car used to have trouble starting. It was very underpowered. And it changed when I adjusted this. It used to be pointing more towards the right. So I made it point pretty much straight up. And now it has more power, starts right up, and it runs a lot happier. So far, I've been very happy with it. It's super clean. After replacing all those gaskets and seals, replacing that oil pan. And if you look at the oil pan, it is beautiful underneath. I decided to finally have matching wheels, so I put both of the Sierra Kais on. This car's been running like a champ. Hey, finally have a little update video. I have a bunch of stuff going on, so stay tuned for that. Enjoy this little edit.